Welcome back to Hermitcraft Season 10, this is episode 13. Today we're going to be doing some building. I absolutely loved the previous episode of Hermitcraft. This build right here is still one of my favourite builds ever. I got a ton of really nice comments about it. I even got some hermits messaging me on Discord saying that they really like the build, which was lovely. I've just received a business offer from ZDAF, which actually sounds good. And on the topic of business things, I mean, how is this doing as a business? Obviously the build itself I'm happy with, but It's also doing well as a business. Okay, I've sold out again. All my shops are sold out at the minute. I've become too successful. It's become difficult to exist. I will restock these, hopefully, in today's Hermitcraft episode. Although that is not my main plan of action, today's plan of action is incredibly exciting. A few weeks ago, I did the concept art for what my base is going to be, at least the beginning phases of the base, and then I built up all of this area here. It was one of my first times using gradients on a large scale, and it didn't go perfectly, but now it's in, it looks really good. So effectively, the stage has been set for the builds that are going on here. Now I need to actually start working on the builds themselves. And in a similar style to my previous Hermitcraft episode, today I just want to work on a single build, but absolutely dedicate my utmost to making it as detailed and as story-backed as possible. And that process is going to start with some concept painting. Now, just to give you a quick refresher on the concept art, on top of the platform, there's going to be a bunch of different buildings that are effectively shop fronts. However, they're not really shops. I'm not going to be paying for any of the items inside. Inside them, though, is going to be my storage system. So, for example, if I want redstone supplies, I go into the redstone shop. If I want stone supplies, I go into the stone shop, etc., etc. Now, the building that we're going to be working on today is the redstone supplies shop, and this is one that I'm really excited for because I had this idea in my head that I wanted it to look like a slightly faded, slightly old technology store. Some of you might have one of these in your town. It's just like an old computer shop that has existed for probably potentially a little bit too long, and you always kind of go past it and wonder how on earth it is still in business. There's always kind of fridges and things just lying around on the outside, and there's kind of computers piling up in the windows and boxes all around it. I absolutely love the idea of that, so I wanted to try my best to recreate that in Minecraft. Now you can see we kind of have a two-story design here. I'm imagining the bottom story is for larger things like pistons and dispensers, things that are heavy that you wouldn't want to take up and down the stairs. And then the upper floor is going to be for all of the smaller components, things like redstone dust and repeaters and stuff that you can kind of fit in your backpack. Now, in terms of the signage and things, because of the fact that I haven't put any letters on it and it's all hashes, it actually kind of makes this build look a tiny bit Japanese, I would say. That is not necessarily the intention. These are actually going to have regular written signs. I didn't really have an idea what I wanted to call it as I was painting it, but now that it is done, I kind of like the idea of big Rons. That just sounds like an old technology shop, doesn't it? So, here is the finished concept art. This is what we're going to be trying our best to recreate on the Hermitcraft server. Let's see if we can pull it off. I may have gotten slightly carried away here. I think I might have gotten slightly carried away. I wasn't quite satisfied with just having concept art for the building itself. I wanted to imagine a little bit more about Ron and the business, this old computer supply store. So I've gone and designed a business card. Here it is, Big Ron's. Now, the story behind this one is that Big Ron, he got these printed back in the 90s, let's say. He got them designed and printed back in the 90s. And then he's been handing them out over the years. One day he realized, oh my goodness, I've run out. And he went to try and find the original file, but he could not find it anywhere. And instead of getting it redesigned, he just pulled the one out of his pocket, scanned it in, and printed that. So now the official Big Ron's business card is covered in folds and coffee stains. That is the sort of store that we're working with here. Now let's get down to business. Oh, I kind of said that because I assumed me and Zed would be doing that business deal by now, but he's just left the game, so I guess I'm just going to resource gather. So I've got my little drawing on another screen, and I'm just trying to work out what sort of blocks match up with the color palette. So the bottom section, definitely bricky, terracotta-y, maybe even a little bit of mangrove-y, tiny bit of copper potentially for the awning type thing, and then the top section, it's pretty tough, isn't it? Like, I would say it's a tough-toned build. Oh, I did a little joke in the previous Hermitcraft episode where I was doing my gradient and I was using tough blocks, and I said gradients with tough are tricky. That was my joke. Like, you would expect me to say tough, but then I didn't. But then everyone just blasted me down in the comment section for not saying tough. Sometimes a good joke subverts your sandwiches. Right, I seriously do have some resource gathering to do. First things first, we need bricks, which in my current stage of the game are still incredibly annoying to gather. Oh, I'm liking these. I am liking these a lot. I'm definitely going to use some bone blocks. I believe those are bone blocks. And then also, I think that's mushroom. I don't even know which way round it is. Which one's bone and which one's mushroom? Okay, the bone bus. Yes, 2 diamonds per 32. Not a terrible deal. Now for my little awning thing, there's kind of a greeny, yellowy hue in some of the stripes. So I've got myself some bamboo planks. That's one option. The other option is some aged copper slabs. We'll see how it goes. I was aging my own copper, but then I remembered I'm rich and I can just buy it. 1 diamond block for a full stack of aged copper blocks, by the way, is an absolute steal. So this should be everything that I need for the bottom half of the build. Now it's time for the slightly more cyan, slightly grayer top half of the build. Some moss I think will look good. Some of these blocks seem like they will look cool. I now have a full shulker box of mossy stone bricks. I probably have more mossy stone bricks than I have anything else. And I only need like a couple of them for this build. But that should be the final thing for the time being. So we've got all of the stuff for the top section, all of the stuff for the bottom section. Oh my goodness, I sneezed and got blown up by a creeper at the same time. It's almost as if my sneeze created a giant hole. Oh, I'm disorientated. Right, finally, let's get to business. Oh, well, I guess I'll just start building then. The first block has been placed. Do I like where that is? Yeah, I think that's a good start. Maybe we started further over here. The thing is, the staircase actually goes off to this side, but I guess I could do some extra terraforming here and kind of cut back this area. I'm going to lay out the actual template of this thing first, just in straight up bricks, and then I'll start removing them and adding noise and things. One thing that I am going to slightly change between the actual build itself and the concept art is the concept art is pretty tall. It's pretty narrow and tall, and I think I want this to be slightly wider. Okay, it also has to be taller as well. Basically, it just has to be bigger. It just has to be bigger. I'm trying not to panic, but there's a small amount of panic. I'm gonna start adding in the sort of disruptive blocks. So I've got some of the deeper red ones down at the bottom, and then we're going to have more of the terracottas and things towards the top. Oh, and I completely forgot about granite. Granite is actually the perfect block to mix in with bricks. What about if I add in some trapdoors and things? Does that help? I think we are sort of getting somewhere. I think this kind of looks interesting, at least. I'm going to start adding in some of the glass, and you know, I thought maybe even having some slight texture to the glass might help things, because that is a big old pain, both figuratively and literally. Okay, let's start getting some boxes in. So I'm thinking this just feels like the most cardboard boxy type of block, I suppose. We can even get some very small cardboard boxes in the form of buttons, and I've got this chisel bookshelf. I don't know if this is going to look good. It kind of looks like an empty box, you know. What about the bamboo? How does the bamboo look? Is it a box? It might be. I think it does look like a box, as long as you're mildly told that it's a box. I've had a really funny idea, and I'm not sure it will work. Okay, this is going well. So the idea is that the box is meant to be facing the other way around. Big Ron just does not care, does he? Wait, have I done the arrows the wrong way round? Genuinely, my brain cannot make sense of this. What way would the arrows face? I got them the wrong way round. I had one job. Right, that's much better. That, combined with this as well, I think sells the fact that these are all boxes lying around out the front of the store. In terms of doors, for some reason, bamboo just feels good to me. Yeah, I think they should be stairs above the doors, though. That is nice. Yes. And I think running down this side, yeah, we've got like a gutter, and that can go down into a drain, which I would say the most drainy looking block is definitely the cauldron. That is good. Here is the little fridge on the outside. This one's a bit of an unusual warning, but it's hidden away. Okay, I'd say we're in a good spot with all of the boxiness and just general rubbishness around the bottom here. Now I'm slightly nervous for this next part. So this is going to be our little awning that's sticking out over the side. Okay, already I quite like this just because of the bamboo supports. Then if I put some of these in and then de-age them ever so slightly. Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, That looks super nice. Really, really happy with that. I'll do all the ground around it later on. Oh, I guess quickly before I forget, I need to... It's been a while. It's wax, isn't it? Let's just quickly forget that that happened. Let's do a little bit of vertical expansion. Now, again, this is a part that I'm slightly nervous about. Firstly, because that looks absolutely huge and pretty disgusting as well. I'm not sure how I feel about the diorite mixed in. At least worst comes to worst, this gutter is going to look really good. And thank goodness we installed one, because clearly we need it. I do actually really like this though, now that we've added in some of the messy blocks. So now I'm going to start working on our sign, and I cannot believe how much iron this build is using. I think I've used about 10 iron blocks. I don't have an iron farm yet. This stuff is organic. Now, what does this look like just purely if I don't place in any of the letters? I guess there would be a gap there because it's big and then Ron's. I kind of like the idea that one of his signs has sort of fallen down. Now for these signs, I'm going to be doing the Unicode squares thing. And annoyingly, B is one of the only ones that kind of has a pretty rubbish letter. But all of the others are very legible. They're very readable, so you can still read it as big Rons. And then at the end here, we've got Tech Superstore. Maybe back in the 90s, Ron, but not so much now. In keeping with the concept art that I did, I really want to try out how this looks with red text. I personally... Whoa. I mean, that's very bright. I personally think it looks pretty good. I think it looks good. Yeah, I'm looking back at my reference image now. I'm happy with it. I think we're actually doing a really good job at recreating this fairly faithfully, which is cool because when I did the concept art, I just did not take into account Minecraft in the slightest, so I'm glad that it's translating okay. This, however, may be the time to change things up just a tiny bit, because I think if I have a straight staircase, especially for how tall this build actually is, I think it will look pretty ridiculous, so I'm going to try my best to curve it round, which... honestly, I think looks cooler. Now the question is, again, in terms of faithfulness, in my artistry bit, I had what looks to be like woodeny or maybe even just like sandstone plankage. Is that something that I want to continue in this build, or do I want bricks? I mean, I think because I've kind of established that wood is cardboard, I think the stairs do look a bit odd, so I might actually have to play around with sandstone. I kind of said it by accident, but then now that I'm looking... actually looks the most close. Will it look naff? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm not sure if this doesn't look quite right because of the stairs or because of the lack of texture in the brick or both. I actually think it was the plain bricks because that looks a lot better. I think all this needs is a few supports and things. And I would say with that, we are all sorted. So let's crack on with the floor. And I kind of want this area to look like this gutter has flooded. So I want this to be... I guess we could just use mud. Now that we have mud in the game, we can use that, and then the rest of it can be like dried mud and things. I'm also starting to think down the line as to how this is going to fit together, because obviously I haven't done this side here, and that's because I assumed it would almost be terraced. It would be like attached to another build. But the more I think about it, the more the idea of a non-linear street is exciting. Like if we round this one off and then maybe there's another build here that kind of overhangs the edge, and then we get like a meandering street with all the different builds on different levels. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. It's flooring time. Honestly, how did we have fun in Minecraft before the packed dirt blocks were added? They are just the best block in the world. That is pretty bang on. I think there's one more thing that I can add to this to really sell the effect. I guess if I want it to look like the gutter is overflowing, then I should probably make sure that the gutter is actually filled. Cool. Oh, I just thought of something else. I'm not sure I have any of these kicking around. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The light level is too high to place the mushrooms at this point in time, so I'm having to resort to some extreme measures. Hopefully this is low enough. Yes. Okay, cool. So we've got some mushrooms growing. Are these going to pop off as soon as I update them and increase the light level? Yes. No. So now I can place them and I can remove the blocks. But I'm also assuming that when these get a random update, they will still pop off, so this might all be in vain. But it's a fun idea, and I'm happy to have attempted it. So with all the ground area done, and all of the exterior of the bottom section done, it's now time to move on to the top. But first, Pearl's just popped over and finally taught me how my letterbox works.
Just in case you haven't noticed, because it doesn't seem like you've looked at the giant bright light telling you've got mail.
Oh gosh.
You've got a mailbox now, mate. It's functioning and it's working, and I've got gifts for you to actually use this thing, and so you can start bothering Green.
Wow.
So that's what you
I've
want to
got
do.
so much mail already. I had not noticed. This is like my real life email inbox. Yeah.
If you don't get on top of it, it's gonna get bad.
Please tell me I'm not going to get another 100,000 emails.
Anything over like 39 or something is gonna despawn, so just don't let it get that bad. Okay.
Oh gosh. I'm not saying a good track record.
You're not. Okay. Do I need to add in an extra storage for your incoming? Is that what you're saying here?
There is potential. Yeah, I might need a double chest. Might need the double barrel.
Okay.
I was like, am I going to have to pay a Drive subscription to you guys for extra storage? I need
extra
the
2
terabyte.
diamonds per month, please.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you interested in learning how to use this today?
Yeah,
Would
please.
you like an
Please.
introduction?
I would
All
like
right.
to know how to spam.
That's not what we should be doing with the mail.
Okay.
It's to send each other loving messages and neck kisses and all kinds of things that everybody likes to send to each other on the server.
I'll send them in
question
bulk. Wait, can I send neck kisses in bulk?
You do, theoretically, yes.
Nice.
I think I need to install a bigger box at Joel's base. You've got a free stamp bundle to get you started.
Cool.
That's going to give you stamps for all the hermits.
I've never used a bundle before. Oh gosh.
That's
Oh
the
no.
reaction everybody has. Thank you for spewing all the stamps on the ground. They were clean. They're not anymore.
Oh no.
Oh,
They're going to
me.
despawn immediately.
Mumbo, come back here.
Well, I need to have
Mumbo.
some form of storage for these things. How do bundles
man doesn't-
work?
You don't know how to use a bundle. Right, pick up the bundle, right, and then hover it over the stamp, and then right click, and it'll put it back in the bundle.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
there you go. You got it. You got this.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I barely know how to craft a dispenser, let alone use a bundle.
Okay, so you've got the stamp bundle. The next thing you're going to need is these shulker boxes, but I know your inventory is looking pretty sad, so I'm going to give you the rest in your double chest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably for the better.
So you're going to use those to send your packages to your hermits, and I've also got some writing paper to you.
Is this super high-end writing paper? Is this crisp? How many GSM? Talking 140? 180?
Yeah. We'll give it a 190 GSM.
190?
Super
Whoa.
Super thick, super textured, slightly more parchment paper-like.
Yeah. That's going to need 2 stamps.
Stuff, mate.
That's more than 1 stamper, I reckon.
Yeah,
It's not going to be
a little heavy.
Yeah, not going to meet the weight requirement.
Just maybe be careful not putting 2 stamps in the system. If you want to send bigger packages, maybe ask me, all right?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, right. Now, in terms of actually using the system, so what you're going to do is you don't have to do it right now, but you'll be using these shulker boxes. You're going to stick whatever you want to send to people inside those shulker boxes. And then once you've got your package sorted out, you can put the stamp of the hermit that you want to send to in the dispenser or drop or whatever it is right next to it there.
Okay.
That's what you put in that.
Yeah.
Then once that's all done, you'll push the button up there.
That's exciting. That's very exciting.
If I see these shulker boxes being used outside of the mail system, by the way, we're going to have a problem.
Well, that all sounds very exciting and very susceptible to misuse. I tell you who isn't susceptible to misuse. Big Ron. He's been in the business for 30 years. There's no misusing Ron. I honestly don't know what I'm talking about. Looking back at my reference image, I would say the darkest parts are probably the floor sections here, but is that too dark? I mean, it's close. I think it would be better if it was stone and andesite and things. Yeah, I'd say that looks much better, much less distracting. So now we need to build up all of the tough area. And I probably want to go about this high. I'd say that's how high I want to go, and then I want to make sure that the mossy bits actually stay in one place, so it's almost like moss has spread. Oh, I actually think I'm on the right track here. I think this needs to be 1 block taller so that it kind of matches up with this area down here. But I think in terms of block palette and things, it's looking really, really good. Oh dear, the stone slabs are coming out. But I am also going to genuinely try some, well, stone slabs. I'll give them the first go. How does that look? Oh, it looks pretty good. You know what? That looks pretty good. I think that's the one. I'm putting the smooth slabs back. Let's get some glass in here. I might even try putting some shutters on it. I'm very curious to see how this looks. Kinda good. It looks kinda good. So this here is where our little sign is going to be going. Please, nobody tell this gal that I'm doing this. I do also think I should try using a wall here, just because that there looked a little bit flat. In my concept art, this thing popped out a little bit, but there's really no way to do that, or at least no way that I can think of in Minecraft. So if I just dip the wall in next to it, does it give the same effect? It kind of does. That is actually surprising. This is my first time crafting a banner in an extremely long time. It's been so long that I genuinely don't think I had to use a loom for it. I can't remember ever crafting one of these. It would make a very good cardboard box though, I tell ya. Gosh, I'm gonna be honest, I'm completely confused. This is starting to look a lot like an R. I think this should be the final step. Border, yes. Okay, bronze. I guess technically it should be a B, but the R just makes more sense in my brain. And if anybody asks, the R actually stands for redstone and not Ron. Alright, let's get this thing installed. I've placed it in the wrong place. Can you tell I don't use banners ever? Is that... Did I place it in the right place the first time? Oh yeah, it just flies. Done. Yep. I'm a fan. This is looking great. Let's get the roof on. Oh, except I almost forgot to put in all of the boxes and the air conditioning unit and the doors on up here, but they're all in place now. So now let's put the roof on. And I personally think this top one should only be 1 block tall. Yeah, that feels correct. Yeah, maybe 1.5 blocks tall. What about 1.5 blocks with the occasional 1.125 blocks? I couldn't remember what the number was, but I actually think I like it. I was worried it would look a little bit like a castle. There's a chance it kind of does look a bit turrety, but I think it works. Big Ron is not going to be paying for his roof to be repaired. This is very in fitting with the theme. I think it's working. I just need to install these little roof block things. Well, they're meant to be. I couldn't tell you, but they're here and they look cool. And with that, Big Ron's is now complete. Let's just quickly take a look back at the concept art that I created at the start of this Hermitcraft episode. So we've got the actual build itself, and also we've got the business card. How well have we actually completed what I initially envisioned outside of the game? This was playing without the parameters of Minecraft. I had complete freedom, wasn't thinking of block palettes and things. What have I managed to do? I would say I've actually done a pretty good job. Like, I'm really, really pleased with this, and I can't tell you how fun of an experience this has been. Firstly, just doing a concept art, to be honest with you, that was so much fun. I had an absolute blast doing it, even if it did take me many hours. But then working from a drawing instead of a different Minecraft build or another Minecraft build is so cool because it gives you so much room for interpretation. Obviously, the art itself, as I say, is not coded to Minecraft. There's no block palettes involved. There's no specific blocks being used. I have to interpret the drawing or the painting and try and translate it into the game, and that has been so much fun. Like, it's been ridiculously fun, and I think the end result is awesome. It's such a small little build. I mean, it's literally only 2 sides of a build. Technically, it doesn't even have... it's like half a build, and that is because there's going to be another build attached to the side of it. I'll be working on that soon, but it's just been so fun thinking up the ideas and working everything out here. So this is definitely something that I'm going to be doing going forward. I think I want to set myself the challenge of having to create a piece of concept art and the business card for every single thing that I create in this area here. So then by the time it is done, not only will I have a bunch of really cool builds that hopefully have an in-depth story behind them, but also I'll have a bunch of cool drawings and cool business cards and things that... I don't know, I could have them on my desktop or something. I could put them up on my wall or something, who knows. Oh, just as I was about to sign off, I realised that I actually missed a detail in the build that I absolutely love in the concept art, which is this. I'll eventually connect this line up into lampposts that will connect up all of the builds. It'll look super cool. And what's even more super cool is those of you who watch the video to the very, very end are the only ones that see this build in its final form, lamppost included. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!